Hey crafters, it's Jana with Crafting It Up in Creations, coming at you today with an embellishment mix that I'm going to be doing using just a bunch of different punches. Now if you don't have punches, you could certainly make the shapes. If you have a cutter, you could just cut the shapes with like the Cricut or the Silhouette or the Brother Scan and Cut. But I have a bunch of these punches. I've collected them over the years, and I love them. There are people who make different things from the punches, and they're so creative. I just love all that stuff. I've seen many like punch boards when I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that people would do and make really cute things with them. So I'm kind of just going through and showing you all the different ones that I have. I've got like the crocodile where you can set eyelets, and then it also has 2 hole punches on it. And I have the corner chomper as well, that from We Are Memory Keepers, and a bunch of my punches are Fiskars. And then I have a bunch like these that are Stampin' Up! And I've collected them through the years. My punches are pretty much some of my beloved pieces in my little scrapbooking area. And this one makes 3 different size tags, page flags, so I really thought that that was super cool. This one looks like a little postage stamp. I've got hearts, I've got other tags, I've got these fancy decorative labels, primitive star and a primitive heart. And this is just a little thin paper pad from the Dollar Tree that looks like wood, and I did end up using some of that. Definitely pick out some jewel stickers. Those are just some pearls, and then these were some Jolie stickers that were on clearance. I also ended up using these little mason jar tags as well from the $1.50 spot at Michael's. And here I am going through my scraps. This was a piece of mail, and I just loved the look of the outside of that envelope. And I have a bunch of scraps. A lot of these were ones that I did use on my bottle cap shakers. And there's some of them are from little small paper pads. This one is from a card. That's more of the Discover packaging envelope. But I love this postcard, or it was actually a card from Tuesday Morning, and it's got like, you know, a look of a map on it, and it was really pretty. And so these are some other punches that I also have in my arsenal. That flower one up in the right does not work. I don't know how long it hasn't worked, but it didn't work. I was very disappointed. But these are just all the different ones that I used, and honestly, I just punched the heck out of some paper. This is some amazing paper from Michael's, and my biggest thought was to make some little, I guess mermaid related punches or embellishments, but this really evolved into other things as well, and I ended up just making a whole bunch of different ones. Yeah, initially I had in mind of making mermaid ones and fairy ones, and it definitely evolved. I ended up using the Magic Hour paper pad though. It's a hot buy from Michael's, and this is some of the paper from that. And I do end up making some of those, but not that many. But like I say, I ended up pulling out a lot of my other scraps and using those. So this is some Georgia Pacific cardstock paper. This is from Walmart. It's 110 pound. It's really nice, a thick, good quality paper, and I punched out a bunch of different things with it because some of the papers that are thinner, I used that to double up with it. And I used as much real estate as I could get on some of those pieces of paper. Anywhere I could find something to punch, I punched it. So here's just a sample of all the different pieces that I cut and what they look like. As you can see, I used several different colors. The one paper pad had the different colors that kind of just went together with that paper set. But when I did punch those out, some of the punches that aren't the sharpest, it actually pulled the color off of the edges of some of those. So I was a little bit disappointed in that. I know like Stampin' Up! Cardstock is just one example. That color goes all the way through, so you don't have to worry about sanding it a little and getting a white from underneath. It's colored all the way through, and I actually like that about it. Here are just some different buttons. Here are more of the pieces, and like I say, I cut out a bunch. And I did want to show these nail stickers from the Dollar Tree. There's little gold hearts and little gold bows on them. And I do end up using a couple of those on some of these little tags. And it's just little small embellishments that I'm going to make. You can add them to cards. You could add them to a gift tag. You could add them to a scrapbook page. You could do just about anything with these. Like I say, I intended to just kind of stick with one theme, but I branched out a little. Some of these are a little shabby chic, some are the mermaids, some are the fairy, and I think they're all turned out pretty good. I had a couple that when I went back and looked at them, I was like, I put way too much stuff on this, and I didn't have some things on another one where I felt like it was too plain. So a couple of these I just still have laying there. So when I go back to that desk and look at them again, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to add something to them or take away, and if not, I'll just throw them. And I've got all this leftover stuff. I'm going to throw it in that bin, and then another day when I pull these back out to work on them again, then I'll look at them then. But every now and again, you do just have to walk away from things. If you're not satisfied with them and you don't like them, that's about the easiest way to decide, you know, what you like the best. So these are just really cute underwater theme type little tags, and I just kind of put those together. But like I say, I don't really have any rhyme or reason when I add stuff. I just try to do what I think looks okay. And then, you know, there's a few that I was really pleased with how they turned out, and then a couple, like I say, that I was like, I'll have to go back and look at them again. But I end up using that Craft Bond glue. It works really well. It dries quick, but it will make your things curl up. So you do kind of have to watch out for that. And a few of the papers that are really thin, I layered them up. So I used some of those little pearls. And then this is the different pop dots that I had. Some of them are really thick, some of them are thinner. The ones from Stampin' Up! Are a little bit thinner, and I really like those. And they come in really handy if you want to make something, you know, slightly raised, but not too much. You know, like they give a little dimension, but they're not too thick. I really like those. So I did want to show you a couple different ideas that I had. This is a Wink Stella brush pen, and it has this little bit of iridescent sheen or glitter to it when you use it on your paper crafts. And of course the one on the right is without it, and the one on the left is with it. This works really well with like stamped images too, if you want just like a little bit of glitter or shine to an image. And so I added some to the butterfly on the right, and then the one on the left is just the plain wood butterfly button. And I'm going to add some of this Wink Stella to that one so you can see just what a difference that it makes. Now this takes a little while to dry, but it dries fine and it doesn't really rub off. You know, even if you get a little on your finger after it dries, it pretty well stays on there, you know. I think it's just whatever's on that top layer. And so these little wooden butterflies came from the bins at Michael's as well, and they were actually have been on sale for the last couple weeks for $1 instead of their $2 bin. It's been a $1 bin, but it really just adds a really pretty sheen to any image. Now my other favorite thing to use are these glazed jelly roll pens. You can use any of those white pens that are like this, but the jelly roll is pretty affordable. They have these at Walmart. I think you can even get those white gel pens at Walmart, but these are from Michaels. Now I suggest using a coupon. If you don't even have a Michaels nearby, you can get them fairly cheaper on Amazon. The only way you're getting them cheaper at Michaels is if you use one of their like 40 or 50% off coupons. But I just add like faux stitching around that little scallop circle, and I add like little wavy lines and a couple dots around some of the other images, and it just really kind of adds a little something to the image itself. And you almost think, wow, does a pen really have that much to offer? But it can really make something stand out just a little bit more, than just that plain image. And this works really well on a lot of little die cuts and different things. I had some deer die cuts last year at Christmas, and I actually added like little white dots to their back after I'd colored the image with like a Copic marker. I added little white dots. I even added some white to the tail and even to like their underbelly, and it looked so cute. It just really made a difference to make it pop. And I love these white gel pens. And like I say, the little faux stitching, this looks a little wonky when I show it here in a second, but it can make just a plain die cut look so cute, when you add that faux stitching around the edge of it. And I'm all about some faux stitching because I'm not much of a user of a sewing machine. So some of these little mermaid pieces and fairy pieces I just love, and I just think some of this adds just a little bit more whimsy to the piece as well. And that holographic stickers from the Michaels $2 bin as well. And then these are just little mason jar tags. They were $1.50. I've had these a while. Pretty much everything in Michaels little bins are $2 now. Of course, recently they've been on sale, and they've all been $1. That's just a little glue stick. That's from Close to My Heart. Some jute twine from the Dollar Tree. I've got some red line tape, some scissors. And this tag is made with one of the Dollar Tree papers, but it's really thin. So I added it to this other white cardstock punch out of the Walmart cardstock package that I showed you earlier. I just glued it on top. And I really love the wood look of those. Otherwise I wouldn't bother, but that paper is like really pretty. Now this is Tim Holtz Ideology Small Talk. There's a lot of like really cute, fun sayings in this, and there's tons of them. So I used quite a few, but I still probably have 95% of them left, if not more. And if the saying was too long for the area that I wanted it to go in, then I cut it up. And it was really simple, and it looks fine, doing that. It looks even like it was meant to be. So I like the font on it. It kind of reminds me of an old typewriter font on those. But like I say, I did use several of those, and you'll see a bunch of these on some of the embellishments that I made. Michaels has some in the planner, in the $2 bin section that's for planners, and there's stickers on one side and then the sayings on the other, kind of just like those, but they're not cut as well. So I'll only caution you to say just make sure that it pulls up and doesn't rip that little sticker. But these came up just fine, and they really just add a little something to it. I love that. So now I'm going to just kind of go through and show you all the different tags that I made, or little embellishments. Now they're not really tags, but you can add these to gift cards, scrapbook pages. You can add them to personalized cards that you make for someone's birthday or congratulations or anything. If you want to make like a greeting card for someone, these would work really well on it. And there's so many different ones. I hope that I can use some of these in a little scrapbook for my niece. I think that a lot of these are just super cute and will really kind of go along with just her little whimsical personality of her own. And so I kind of show you all of them. Like I say, there were some that I feel like I could maybe add a little more to it, this being one of them. And that's why I'm going to kind of walk away from them for maybe a day or so and go back and look at them and see if there's anything else I can do with them. If I think it needs something else, then I'm going to kind of just throw it in that box where I have all the spare punched out pieces for a later date to use. A lot of times just walking away from something or going to sleep that night and getting up the next day and kind of taking another look at it, you either decide to go in another direction, add something to it, or maybe you just don't like it at all. But typically I find that I just think of something else that I can do with it. And as you can see, that paper's really thin. It's ripped right on the tip of there, so I do suggest adding a piece of the cardstock in behind it, and that will make it thicker if you do happen to get that paper. But I love the wood look of the paper even though it's so thin. But I used a piece on the back of that. I used a staple. I used one of the little wood buttons, a brad, and then a wood cutout of the bicycle. And of course, I love the follow your dreams or, enjoy the journey wording that you can kind of pull from that Tim Holtz book as well. So this paper just had the bicycles all over it. And I thought it was super cute. It was out of one of the smaller paper pads. And I've got a paper flower. And I used an Explore sticker on that one. And then made another smaller one. And that's part of that card that had the map on the back of it as well. This little coffee sticker was actually a planner sticker. And I just kind of added it to that. Added a little bit of that white gel pen. Here's one with the unicorn on it. I'd like to package up some of the little like fairy tale, the unicorn things all together. And maybe add that to an embellishment box of some sort that has to do with unicorns. That's a little clay butterfly at the top. And then this is a planner sticker as well, and it's kind of see-through, so I thought it would look really pretty with the fairies in behind it. This one has a little mermaid on it with Stay Curious, and it really does make me think of Ariel on the Little Mermaid. This is one that I think is too busy. I need to change something about it. I'm not happy with it completely. I think I need to just take off the paper at the bottom with all the crosses on it. And then this one is the scallop circle. I have the heart punch with the stickles. I used the new little bow punch, and that bow come out really cute. And I used a wooden butterfly and then some of the little flat back pearls from the Dollar Tree. And it just looks kind of antique looking. I really like that. And then this is made with some of the same papers. And the two papers are actually the same paper. One's just flipped around to the other side because it's double-sided. These are the little tags from Michaels, and I glued them together so the front and the back look the same. You could still use it as that intended purpose and attach it to a gift, and then write to and from on the back of it. But they just look really kind kind of vintage, shabby chic looking. Now the ones with the little grapevine wreaths, I guess these wouldn't be all that great for a card or even a scrapbook because they are got a lot of bulk to them, but they still would look good, you know, on a package to someone. And I'm going to go through and show you the rest of those that I made using the little mason jars. If you do like videos like this, there's not really a whole lot of tutorial here. Just kind of like a process of what I did to put them all together and just kind of sharing them with you. If you do like videos like this, give me a thumbs up. That'll let me to know to keep kind of doing more things like that, because that might be what I do with some of the traveler's notebooks. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. If you hit the bell, that'll notify you each and every time I upload a new video. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope you get a chance to craft it up. Thanks for watching. Bye.